who's going to be sharing her story with us now.
Hello, thank you so much for having me today. Thank you for Judy's Mission and Cindy for giving me this platform to share my story. I'm not the best public speaker, so please bear with me. First, I want to recognize my amazing husband, who has been just my rock through everything. We're high school sweethearts, and he is truly family members go through this just as much as the patients do. I think a lot of times it's harder for the family members to watch their loved ones suffer through everything. So he did an Ironman in awareness for ovarian cancer, and he just, thank you very much, babe. On December 17th, 2015, the little girl inside me lost most of her dreams. The bottom fell out of underneath my world, and the shell of a young adult I had become disintegrated. The worst part about it was that it wasn't just my world that was disturbed, it was everyone who I loved. My parents, my, at the time, fiance, and before we knew it, we were living the vows God had tested us with before we even repeated them at our wedding. My story begins in the months prior to this. Let's go back to January 2015. I had been inside numerous doctor's offices complaining of fatigue, bloating, weight gain, and what felt like my uterus was stretching. I was convinced my 45-pound weight gain was just hormones. I was working full-time as an assistant manager at Kendra Scott. I had gained an exponential amount of weight and was having what I thought were bladder and kidney infections. I had been to my gynecologist a few times, as well as endocrinologist, general practitioner, and just about every other doctor you could think of. With all of them dismissing my aches and pains, to working so much and just mere hypochondria, I did what any normal person would do. I turned to Google. My fatigue I hashed out to working all the time, and hypochondriac in me just told myself, it's okay, you're fine, it's just normal women everyday symptoms. I think everyone in the room can admit to having a bout of hypochondria when they're sick. I carried my symptoms all the way from January to October. I got engaged the following December and was seeing a personal trainer 3 times a week to get the pre-wedding bod I so desperately wanted. My trainer and I couldn't believe that every single Monday, when I would step on the scale, I would have gained a pound or 2. She was convinced that after our workouts, I was going home and binge eating McDonald's and cheeseburgers and Chick-fil-A. I promised her I didn't. Sadly, as much as I wished and dreamt that I was eating juicy cheeseburgers, let's face it, dieting is awful, I wasn't losing any weight. In October, I finally went to my gynecologist again, complaining of symptoms. Despite my pap smear being normal, she agreed to do an ultrasound of my abdomen. Because of life and work and just being a normal 22-year-old at the time, because let's face it, we all think we're invincible when we're in our younger 20s, I got a call from her office saying they found a mass in my abdomen. I would need a CT scan. I immediately got on the phone and scheduled one. I no longer was the invincible 22-year-old I thought I was. On December 17th, 2015 was the last time I was ever going to wake up a blissful, engaged, young 22-year-old with her whole life ahead of her. That morning, I was awakened by my dad with a concerned look on his face. My gynecologist was on the phone herself, telling me she had seen something on my CT scan. She had called in a favor, and I had an appointment at noon to see an oncologist. I immediately hung up the phone, frozen, and called my fiance at work to come home immediately. It was noon, and I was walking into a building I had been many times before. Only this time, I really looked at everyone in the building. There were patients walking around, some of them pregnant, some of them with bare heads and scarves on their heads. To the right, there was a big sign that stated, "Ended pink for breast cancer." The building was full of women, half of them living life and enjoying the fruits of labor, almost literally, and the other half wearing turbans on their head to keep them from the cold. I couldn't tell you what I did in the hours leading up to this appointment, but I can tell you every single detail of the appointment leading up to the C word. As I was walking to the suite, my fiance grabbed my hand. Little did he know it then, but it was the most important handhold I will ever have. I went to the front desk, and I got a look I'll never forget. "Are you Miss Houston?" the receptionist at the front desk muttered and gave me a faint smile. She knew who I was. How? Was there some kind of sadness in her eyes? It instantly gave me a hit in my stomach. I turned around to a waiting room full of women staring at me with the same look on their faces. They were all wearing beanies or scarves covering their cold, bald heads. I knew what they were all thinking. I was way too young to be here. My mom and fiance sat down to me, and as we waited for the doctor, which my dad was going to meet us at the appointment, they called me into the cold, white room. In desperation to get a smile out of me, my fiance made a sarcastic joke about the stirrups, which my mom did not find nearly as funny as I did. At this very moment, I had no idea I was about to meet the person who would become my lifeline, literally. This kite-sized woman walked into the room named Dr. Christine Lee. She smiled and introduced herself and asked that my mom and my fiance give us a moment so she could examine me. After they left the room, I studied her smile. She sat there stiff and very concerned. In this moment, I knew something bad was going to happen. I immediately burst into tears. "I want a baby," I exclaimed. "We want a baby." I kept saying, "Please tell me anything besides the fact that I can't have a baby." Dr. Lee gave me a hug and asked if she could speak freely in front of my mother and my fiance. She said, "Let's call them in." As they walked in, the feeling in the pit of my stomach turned from an ache to a burning hole. I felt as though I could pass out or throw up. Dr. Lee sat down and gave me a serious look. "I'm afraid that you have ovarian cancer, and it looks to be advanced. It has moved past your hips." I immediately froze. The kind of fear you get when someone tells you you have cancer is an incapacitating, all-consuming fear. "Miss Houston, are you hearing me? This is very serious. Do you understand me?" It took everything in me not to look at my fiance and my mom. If I did, then I knew what she was saying would be real. How could this be? I'm only 22 years old. I had my whole life ahead of me. I'm getting married in 2 months. My grandma had just lost an 8-year battle with ovarian cancer herself that my dad had endured. He was her sole caretaker. How could I do this to my dad? How could I do this to my fiance? How could I do this to my family? Cancer is something that happens to other people. I'm not supposed to get cancer. I'm supposed to have a baby. I'm supposed to get married. I'm supposed to live the life that's intended for me. I kept yelling at Dr. Lee, "I want a baby. This isn't happening to me. I want a baby." "Miss Houston," she said, "you're going to have to put a baby on the back burner and focus on your health." Those words did more to me than crush the little girl inside me. They literally gave me a broken heart. I didn't know it was possible to feel the excruciating emotional pain I was experiencing. By this time, my dad had arrived to the appointment to my mom screaming, "She has cancer, she has cancer, my baby has cancer." I snapped out of the panic attack I was having, and the numbness engulfed my body as the tears streamed down my face. Dr. Lee explained that she would need to do a biopsy to get in there and feel around accurately to diagnose the stage and what type. She made me a promise I'll never forget. "You will be a mother and wife. I promise you that." We quickly scheduled the biopsy, and she left my family and I to have some time to ourselves. The blood work, the x-rays, the endless tears streaming down my face. The next couple of days leading up to my biopsy consisted of nightmares, tears, and anger. Having done this before, my dad was, well, one for a second, third, fourth, and fifth second opinion. I got to the point where my parents would go to the appointments without me, and the doctor would walk in and they would ask, "Where's the patient?" They would respond, "Well, she's not here, she didn't want to come." I refused to hear the same bad news over and over again. The last thing I remember when going in for my biopsy was Dr. Lee holding my hand. The first thing I remember when I woke up from surgery was her holding my hand. "I'm sorry, Haley, but it's cancer." I remember asking her if I was going to die. She repeated with a nurturing voice, holding my hand just as tightly as I was gripping hers, "I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that doesn't happen." This exact moment is when I became a cancer patient. This is when she became not only my lifeline, but she gave me the courage and sparked a fight in me I never knew I had. I started chemo on December 31st, New Year's Eve. My sister changed her day off to go to chemo with me and my mom weekly. This was my chemo crew. If you're going through cancer, you know you have to have a chemo crew. You're not supposed to have more than one person in the back, but let's face it, they knew I wasn't going to abide by any rules. I would have an entourage at every visit, my mom and my sister, and all the older women when I would walk in the room would announce, "The baby's here," which isn't necessarily a good thing. I was the youngest one in there, and it agitated me at first, until I realized that by them announcing I was a baby, it made them feel better about their own situation. Every age can get ovarian cancer. I had trouble with my port, so I had to get it accessed at the hospital. Every time I would look into my mom's eyes, and she would stare back as fiercely as I was looking into hers, saying, "You're gonna be okay." I remember Thursdays, I just had to get through Thursdays. My fiance was saying, "You made it through one Thursday, you've gotta get through the next." This helped a lot. Each time I had a tear stream down my face, my mom was there with a tissue to wipe it. I had epithelial serous carcinoma, and it was a very rare with a mixture of high and low grade. As my oncologist likes to call it, I was a little medical unicorn. Leading up to my wedding, everyone told me to cut my hair because the trauma of it falling out was going to be one of the worst parts of this whole ordeal. Being the stubborn, vain young woman I am, I refused to cut my hair until I felt firsthand the chunks of hair on my pillow. It wasn't until I went to a bridal shower that my best friend had thrown for me that I realized I had extreme bald spots. The next day, I woke up looking like Cindy Lou Who from The Grinch. My family trying not to laugh, but let's face it, you have to find humor in some things. My hair had gotten tangled in itself as I slept. My mom's sister and cousin gave me some extra bravery that morning with a dose of very strong Xanax and said, "We need to cut your hair." Call me crazy, but I thought one perk of having cancer is that you lose weight from chemo. Nope. Guess again. The steroids I was given became extremely puffy. I was bald at my wedding, which was so definitely not ideal for any bride. My older sister and I searched high and low for the perfect wedding wig, which we ended up having to glue to my head. Yes, we found some glue, and I Beyoncé'd that all the way down the aisle. I had my white girl weave on. My poor husband, we spent our wedding night with him trying to rip that sucker off my head. The wig glue really works. No wonder Beyonce can have those high-powered bands. Around the time of my wedding, I was noticing my bloating and stretching feeling coming back. We got married on February 27, 2016. 2 days later, I had a CT scan. My body had stopped responding to the chemo. My body had succumbed to the tumor inside me and had actually grown while on chemo. At that point, I was deemed inoperable. 3 days into my marriage, things weren't looking good for our future. I didn't know this at the time, but Dr. Lee had told my husband that we needed to go on our honeymoon and he needed to spend as much time with me as possible. Things were going to plan and she wasn't sure how long I had. If you have to be depressed, at least we were in Hawaii. We put me on 1 dose of Doxil and she sent me to a doctor named Dr. Michael Seiden. This time I promised her I would actually attend the appointment. They had a new plan for me. It was a surgeon at Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York named Dr. Dennis Cheek. If anyone could get most of the cancer out, it would be him. Due to Dr. Lee and Dr. Seiden making personal phone calls and my dad's due diligence and a little harassment on our end, he, just like any doctor I'd seen, agreed, which was only about 3 that walked in the room crying. Which, when a doctor walks in the room crying, you're like, oh shoot, this is not good. We left that appointment that we saw with him in New York with hope. He said, "You're the same age as my daughter, and I'm gonna try and operate." Operation would be April 25th. We would need to stay there for a month after surgery to make sure all was well. Of course, I had my entourage come with me because I had them everywhere, my best friend included. There was hope. God was listening to our prayers and showing us a path. We flew to New York for surgery. Going into the surgery, Dr. Lee and I had an incredible patient-doctor relationship. I actually would miss her in between my doctor's appointments, which she told me is so weird. She made herself available to me whenever I needed her. She even gave me her personal number, which she regretted, I'm sure, at times. She had told me he wouldn't be able to get it all. My omentum was covered with cancer. My ovaries had been engulfed into one giant tumor, and I had multiple other tumors. I would have to have a colostomy bag. When they rolled me into surgery, I left my husband crying, my in-laws, my parents, my big sister, and my brother-in-law. Beyond terrified of the outcome of the surgery, I closed my eyes thinking he's going to take what's most important for me, my ovaries, my uterus. My ability to have a child had been overtaken by this poisonous disease. I was angry and I was sad. I was terrified. I didn't know what to expect when I woke up. I knew I would be an empty woman. I awoke to my husband holding my hand after what was an 8.5-hour surgery, screaming, "Haley, he got it all! You don't have a colostomy bag! You aren't dying anymore! You have a chance at our future!" He could have told me that he was Channing Tatum, and I would have believed him at that. On a side note, he also told me one of the nurses taking care of me let it slip that Dr. Chi listened to Dr. Dre and 90s rap in the operating room to make me love him even more. He saved my life. The next time I awoke to Dr. Chi saying, "Hello, Miss Houston, I heard they told you, but you don't believe them. I got everything. We took 33 items out of your body and 1.5 feet of your colon. I'm certain I got everything I needed." I should have been celebrating that he got everything, but instead I was laying there with IVs and everything, with a 1.5 foot long incision, stem to sternum, and I thought, this would be a constant reminder of what I've lost. The surgery was a miracle, and I was a living proof of a miracle. Why was I lying there feeling like a broken, empty woman who just wanted to die? It was the first good news I had gotten since my diagnosis, and all this time I was reaching out to God and never truly understood what it means to need Him, to be incredibly angry with Him until this moment. God took away what was most important to me, having a baby. Who cares about all the other organs? Why did He let this happen to me? I was mad that I needed God so much. I had a way of coping by numbing my feelings. As soon as I realized I had a chance of living, I truly accepted God into my life. He could handle the anger. He could handle me grieving my loss. He could also help me see the blessings of life. Let me tell you, there were a lot of blessings. I stand here today full of life, positivity, and wanting to bring awareness to ovarian cancer. Most of you in this room have either had cancer or don't think it will happen to them. That was me 4 years ago. Look at me now. I no longer look at my scar and see what I've lost. I see what I've overcome. I have my battle scars, and I am damn proud of them. God brings devastation to our lives so we can make it through. I have not had my wedding on my terms, a baby on my terms, but I have a husband who stayed when he could have left, a best friend who was there for me through everything, a big sister, and amazing parents who literally moved mountains for me. In-laws who loved me, grandparents who supported me, and tons of friends and family who showed prayers and support. The days of devastation bring blessings and thankfulness for the good days. I am now happy to say that I am a mother to a beautiful baby boy who is 1 year old. My amazing husband is a father, and I am a mommy. He has been the best medicine for me and is the little love of my life. My husband's still the big love of my life. There's nothing as sweet as marrying mama from that boy's mouth. Every single day when I get out of the shower, I look at my scars and thank God for another day. I'm thankful for the little things like having the energy to go to movies, dinner with family, adventures with friends, watching Mickey Mouse on the couch, or puppy dog pals. I have a beautiful baby that God blessed us with, and without my struggle, we would not have had that exact baby, and I can't imagine life without him. When the pain cuts deep, and the nights you can't sleep, I'm thankful to be looking to God. I've been cut deeper than you could possibly imagine from the pain that I've gone through, but I'm also stronger and braver than ever. It's now 4 years, and I am on my 4th recurrence. I found out Tuesday that I will be starting chemo tomorrow or Friday. I am thankful because without this fight, I wouldn't have found my strength. I hope my story brings awareness to young women and everyone out there to listen to their bodies. You know your body better than anyone else. Every single time I've had a recurrence, it's been because I knew something wasn't right. Go to the doctor and let's find a better test than the CA-125. No more lives need to be lost to the late diagnosis. Losing is not an option for me, and I know it's not for y'all either. Thank you so much for having me, Judy's Mission, and I'm honored to share my story with you.